Today I just wanted to give you a quick look at a recent revision to one of the boards on the the modular board set for TerranScapes. One of the boards that's been on the page before is a cratered board, and I really was looking at the old board and I wanted to make some changes to it. I didn't like its original design, so I've been working on some modifications. I think this is a layout that I'm probably going to stick with for future releases. Well, first, let me show you what the old board looked like.
So looking at these photos from the website, and of course if you haven't visited the website before, every terrain item that I have listed in the store features generally these three photos in succession. One shows the board in isolation, two close-ups, and oftentimes I include one that shows miniatures or an entire setup for scale purposes and overall layout. But you can see, looking at these craters, that they are about the same depth. It's about a 1/4 inch depth carved into the board, maybe 1/3 of an inch deep. But then rather than raise up the lip to show the ejected soil, what I did is I just dressed the edges with a heavy rock overlay. Looking at it, doesn't really reflect the material that'd be ejected from the craters, and I didn't really like the painting that's on the inside of the craters. It doesn't really look like it was blasted, so I decided that this really needed some changing, although I did preserve the scattering of some bits of foliage around the edge, and I really like the idea of covering up the flocking, so to speak, near the crater to show that recently ejected material is overlaid over the sort of grassy area surrounding the boards. But clearly I felt like I needed to do some improvement on the board, and I haven't really done this design as you see it here for several boards that I've shipped lately.
Now you can see the changes here, which involve less of the rocks thrown around, slightly raised up lip. And what I've tried to do is emphasize sort of the blast mark appearance of the inside of the crater. And in this board I added an extra crater. I went with 4 instead of 3. I don't know if I can guarantee 4 every time, but I just kind of felt, I don't know, like adding the extra. The craters are quite large, so this, just to give you an idea, these are AT-43 models. These are 30 millimeter scale, and so you can see these craters easily support multiple models within each crater. The lip is fairly shallow, I'll have to admit, on it. Partly, well, I think it just looks a little bit more realistic. I think, when you think about the amount of material that would be excavated by the blast, we're not talking about a fairly deep depression, and so you're not going to have a tremendous amount of ejected material thrown around. So I've kept the lips fairly shallow, but have raised them up a bit over the sides to give it that improved cratered appearance. So as I said in previous videos, I'm not going to be taking pictures of new boards that I do or changes, but since this was a pretty significant styling change, I did want to put it up so that people could see it, and I'm going to be listing new photos on the website as well, showcasing the current look of the board. So if you have any questions, of course, or you want to see close-up photos of this board or any of the products at TerranScapes, you can visit TerranScapes.com, and you can see contact information to reach me, and of course pictures of this board. Thanks.